And I'm Shayla, and this is Dawn DelVecchio. Welcome, Dawn. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm happy to connect yet again.
I am too. And this is the part where we say I look rude because I need to find I need to find the live on my page so that I can open it up. And then when I open up that live, first of all, there'll be an echo. I
Okay.
need to find the live on my because there's a delay, and then I'll be able to see who's, like if somebody wants to ask questions and give us feedback, then I'll be able to answer questions.
I
Lately they've been kind of quiet, not very chatty, but I am always open to questions and just say hi. So
great.
tell me what's going on in your world right now.
Oh, let's see what's going on. Well, there's actually a lot on the go right now. I really feel like the priestesses, star seeds, light workers, we're really amping up our responsibility to be in service right now. So I have a lot of clients I'm working with. I'm very excited about some courses that I'm rolling out that have really helped women in the past. And so feeling grateful that I'm in a safe place, in terms of the fires and everything that are happening on the West Coast. I'm over here in Sedona, Arizona, and I'm spending a lot of time in the forest to ground and center and re-nourish myself, to keep showing up, and so that's the biggest piece. And then I wanted to share a card I pulled today.
Please do.
So I pulled Green Tara, the Buddha of enlightened action, or what I would call awakened service. And this is a beautiful image. And also, this back here, this tapestry is from Bali. It's also, she's white Tara, but her foot on the ground means she's stepping in to serve humanity. So I felt like that was a really appropriate card for your work, for Alchemy of Ascension, and for my work as well, serving, helping women to step into their sacred feminine leadership.
Absolutely. I know each Tara kind of represents bringing a certain frequency and a certain energy to the planet or to the people that are interacting with her. Oh, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've learned that. Can you remind me of what Green Tara is all about?
Yeah, green Tara is the one who typically see the image there is more a green Tara. She's got one foot stepping. She's stepping in to help humanity. White Tara is more sitting in meditation, that contemplative connection with the divine. And there's probably others, but those are the only two that I've worked with.
Yeah, I used to have a white Tara painting or image that someone gave me and told me that white Tara was kind of over the overseer of artists and creatives.
Ah,
Um, so I don't know. And green Tara, I think she's like the bodhisattva for the earth, right? She helps humanity and the earth, probably especially right now.
I just felt her come in as you said that, Bodhisattva of the earth. And then I put my hands in the mudra that's shown in this card here, which I don't know what this particular mudra means, but maybe some of the yogis that watch this will know. But I really felt that, yeah, that she's the Bodhisattva of the earth coming to really hold and help us navigate these extraordinary times, understanding that for many who are not yet on aware of their ascension, the ascension energies that are happening, that it can be also very scary times, very times of great tribulation. And so calling upon green Tara is a great way to come into that. Whew, okay, yeah, we can be with the earth and move through this ascension journey in a more balanced way.
Oh, yeah, I love that. And the other thing that I'm really noticing, and let me shout out to, is it Charlene? Sorry, these tiny little, yes, Charlene. Hi, Charlene. She says
Hi,
hi.
Charlene.
Um, I love it when people actually talk to us.
Yeah.
What I've noticed too for myself, and I'm sure that I'm not alone in this, is that as I'm stepping into more visibility, more of my power, more activations, more, like being public I'm getting asked to be more public, which I'm absolutely grateful for and willing to be. Um, I also have to clear layers of stuff that comes up of like, oh my gosh, am I worthy and can I do that? And it's, I just did a live activation on somebody's 1 day activation event, Extravaganza of Light, and it was powerful. And I felt so honored to do it, and it was unscripted, and and there's so much power in the trusting and just knowing, and it's a constant reminder. I feel like, yeah, just one step at a time. Don't get too far ahead of yourself and just do your service work, right? I mean, that's what this time is all about.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. I feel like the real leaders of the age to come, the golden age, whatever you want to call it, during this ascension, we have to do our own work. Both those clearing those layers of like unworthiness and all of that conditioning, as well as our shadow material that may be, there's an ego, and the ego still has its all of its drives, whether which is mostly to keep us safe, but it can also go into like power and power tripping and all that stuff. So that inner work is a piece of a key piece, I think, of how we can step in and then get out of the way when it's time to, whether you call it channeling or just bringing through those transmissions, those activations, that service. Like we build the skills, but then we have to get out of the way, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a huge hurdle for me. And I would say the one biggest thing that kept me back from stepping into my power, and I also believe everything happens at the perfect time, but there was an inner fear that I had of misusing power. If
Oh,
I were to be in a place of power, I was afraid that I would misuse it. And I did past life regression and a quantum healing hypnosis technique, actually, to help me review those lifetimes where that happened. And that's where that fear was stemming from, because I wanted to get to the source of it so I could truly clear it from my presence, from my being.
beautiful. I very much relate to that. I haven't done Q8, what is it, quantum healing, QHHT,
Uh-huh.
but other modalities to do the same. And I've had a number of incarnations where I was a warrior, in that sort of this energy of control, if you will.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of fear around abuse of power too. And I feel like that's why I hid for so long, and trusting the divine timing of things as well. I work with a lot of women right now who are in this space of they want to know what their soul mission is. And to some degree, I really always say our soul mission is holding the light, doing our inner work, and anchoring that light right now. That's like the main thing. But many of us have been practicing and developing modalities and skills and abilities for years. And then there's these blocks. It's like, why can't I get through it? And for some, it very much is that fear of abusing power. And the irony, of course, is that those of us who are actually conscious of that are least likely to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because for me, I karmically, or, however you want to frame it, um, I know that I did not come here this time to wreak havoc or create karma or abuse power or anything like that. And so I feel like I had to go through my process, my learning and my expanding and my growth in order to step into a place of visibility, a place of power, a place of really having access so that I could teach it in a way that's assimilable,
Yeah.
and it's all perfect the way it turned out. But it took me 30 years, almost to be able to do that and be balanced in it and feel good about it. Now I know it's like the last thing in the world I want to do is create karma and then have to come back and repeat all this.
Right,
I want to do that.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that kind of goes back to that whole thing of, inner work and making sure like, where am I getting to, where is a part of me sort of getting too caught up in attachments to an outcome, whatever. And when we keep going inward, doing that, and then being in service, that it's kind of like breathing in and out. We can stay in that alignment of what I call soul mission, stay in alignment with the oversoul or the higher self's intention for this life. And yeah, so many of us, I mean, we've been around this merry-go-round a lot of times now. We're like, I'm not going to create all that. I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, thank you. We're going for the ascension journey.
Right. And, paving the path so that it feels safe for those coming along to jump onto their path as well. And I feel like that's why some of us started earlier, or, woke up from, or came in awake, so that we really could clear those pathways and say, okay, it's safe. Let's go, let's do this together. We're a community. And I also feel, so many people who become light workers end up working alone because it's not the norm, and friends and family and circles oftentimes change, and then you start feeling lonely, and that's not the point either. This really is a time of community and collaboration and doing it together, creating together.
Indeed, indeed. And to your point about kind of those who came at the forefront, and there were those even, of course, before us,
Yeah.
There's something, the challenges that we faced, whatever they were, the karmic clearing we've done, etc. All of that is grist for the mill. It's all for us to, and how many times have you found that the challenges that you went through, the breakthroughs you've had, you then boom, right away you get a client that you're serving that same theme.
Yeah.
And so this is where like our challenges, our mess, our the messiness of our human condition become our message and our medicine as well.
Absolutely. In fact, that's important because it's not like, I used to pray for patience when my daughter was born, and she had colic and she would cry for hours, and it was before that period. Well, I learned to be patient between her and her dad, who didn't live in time and was always 2 hours late for everything. And like, I really just wanted a little fairy to come and sprinkle patience dust on my head, and for me to magically become patient. But that's not the way I got it. I got it through life lessons and learning how to be patient through the people around me requiring a lot of patience.
Indeed, and that is, this something's coming in here about the 3D reality and the 5D reality, and how I think some of that paradigm is going to shift. First of all, there's manifestation happens faster, so we really have to be impeccable with our focus, our thoughts, our intention. But I have a feeling that the level of density that a lot of us have plowed through, like I'm getting an image of like a plow, like a snow plow or something, like plowing through density, like, okay, I want patience. So that means I'm going to be given tests of patience, that as we ascend and clarify ourselves of some of the old karmic density, if you will, that's going to change too. I don't have a clear picture, but maybe you do, on how manifestation and lessons can come in differently, with more grace and ease as we ascend into the fifth dimension.
Yeah, and that's a little tricky because you don't want to go into a higher dimension of reality if you haven't figured out how to focus your mind and your attention. Because when you're getting quick manifestations, like really fast manifestations, you don't have time to correct the thoughts, the ways that the things you're imagining. And what I noticed, I think this is really important about this topic, is every time I sort of move to a new level or have an ascension within an ascension and move up in frequency, everything in the way of that comes up to be addressed. And if I'm going to get sucked into that and stuck in the muck, so to speak, that is going to pull me right back down. I'm not going to be able to hold that frequency. I'm going to get like dropped down, and that's okay. Sometimes you're kind of bouncing back and forth for a while, but you have to get really good at releasing and not getting attached to the things that come up and the past and, you know, that what that person said or what that politician did or the drama of the world. Because when we get sucked into that and we're trying to move into, you know, a higher frequency, it's instant manifestation in the higher frequencies, and we're gonna wreak havoc if we're, you know, if we're recycling or putting out negativity in the higher frequencies. And that's why really we don't get to go there until we've done that work.
Yeah, yeah. And in that way, you know, when we frame it this way, and I know when we're going through our individual challenges, it doesn't feel this way. And I don't mean to be disrespectful for those who are really struggling with things right now. But in that way, we can see these things as, in a sense, a blessing because we are literally cleaning house. We're literally cleaning out what does not serve us. And for me, that is my main service right now with the women that I mentor and the other courses and classes I offer for women and men is about, you know, what are the tools, what are the skills and tools really for us to do the inner work to clear out. I always think of it as like this vessel. It's like you can think of a beautiful golden goblet, and we've got to clean it out so that the golden light can come through us, so that we can be that vessel of love light. So when something comes up, it can be like, oh my God, I just don't want to deal with another thing, you know? But then when we actually have the tools to know how to work it through instead of getting caught on it and hooked on it, we set ourselves free from it. It's like, oh, instead of spending incarnations working that out, I just cleared it with these tools, you know, in an hour or 2 hours or a week. And now there's more space for the light to come through, more space for me to have to create the life and co-create with my sisters and brothers on earth the world that we're wanting.
Absolutely. That's the surrender and release and surrender and release.
Yeah.
And it's infinite, right? It just keeps coming. The more, you know, the more we do it, the more it comes. And that's great because I think sometimes we're clearing for more than ourselves too. We could be clearing for our lineage and for our, you know, community.
I was just going to ask you your thoughts on that, if you feel that as well, that we have a responsibility right now, and the work we do isn't just for us, it's for all the people who don't have the resources to be able to even remotely get close to this kind of work.
Yeah, it's also like that was the paving the pathway as well. You know, more clearing the individual does, then it makes it easier for everyone around you to also fall into that frequency. Frequencies are magnetic. They're you know, contagious in a sense. And so you can pick up just as easily pick up a high vibrational frequency as you can a low vibrational frequency. So, you know, it's, you got to be careful who you're spending your time around. But yes, absolutely, we clear for more than ourselves. And they think the tricky thing there is to be careful not to feel like a martyr and that we have to clear for more than ourselves, because our work is always on ourselves and everything else is an effect of that.
That's a beautiful point. And you know, that is it's part of that old paradigm of, to be a good person, we put ourselves last and serve everyone else. And that actually will never get us where we want to go, because until we go in and do our own inner work, we can't really serve other people. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, yeah. And other people are always going to be our mirrors to show us what we still need to work on, right?
Indeed, indeed.
Real quick, I want to shout out. We've got Rowan, Lehman, and David. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Feel free to ask questions. And we only have, I mean, we're kind of going to go short today because Dawn and I both have other events. I have a Q&A on another event, and then I'm catching an airplane immediately after that. So
Oh,
I got a full
wow.
day today. And I know you have clients too.
Yep,
So
I have a full client day.
yeah, I really want to thank you for coming on. And I want to just have you, for anyone that Well, okay, so first of all, you're going to be live. Your interview goes live on Saturday. And the reason I'm doing Dawn's early is because I'm going to be traveling for the weekend. So I won't be able to do lives on Saturday. But I wanted to make sure people got excited about your interview coming out and introduce you to everyone. And then if you could just, if you want to say a little bit about your offerings, I know you're giving away a gift and a wonderful offer. So if you want to tell people about those so they can look forward to that. That'd be great.
Yeah, so the free gift is the Sacred Feminine Leadership Library, and I guess you'll share the links on those. So I'll just say
Yes.
that's just a series of resources. They're audios, mostly audios. Some are guided meditations, other insights. And I use Sacred Feminine Leadership as somewhat interchangeable with the concept of priestess. And while this is mostly focused for women, certainly men who are connecting, who are doing work on their inner feminine, this would be a wonderful way to gather some information and guidance. And then the offer is my Inner Priestess Alchemy ceremony that I'll be offering. I think it's October 6th. Then, of course, there's a recording. And we're going to focus on three things. And again, this is not just for women, even though it says priestess, that's because that's the work that I primarily do. But I also work with men sometimes who are very much wanting to understand their inner feminine or their feminine partner, for example. This is a condensed version of a longer course that I teach, and we're going to focus on three things: radical forgiveness and self-acceptance, inner alchemy and energetic protection, the inner methodologies I use to clear my energy field and to stay in high vibration, and invocation, prayer, and ceremony. So creating sacred space. And I'll be doing some channeled transmissions and teaching, and it's all in sacred space. And the radical forgiveness and self-acceptance is really a major piece of the inner work. So we've talked a lot about inner work today. That inner work of doing our own inner healing so that we can be powerful anchors or vessels for light in these times for our sisters and brothers, and of course for our own lives as well. So it's a beautiful ceremony. It's a powerful transmission. I don't necessarily know who's going to come through in the channel transmission. That's open to spirit. But I know that these teachings have been very impactful for the people who've gone through the longer course as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing about that. And also, I want everyone to know that on your interview or during the interview, which will be released Saturday and it'll be live for 48 hours, you do a like a guided meditation where, if I recall, don't we get a gift from the goddess Isis in that?
I think so. Yeah, I do a lot of these, so I don't remember now from the recording, but
It was really beautiful, and so you don't want to miss that. It was powerful and beautiful, and it was a wonderful talk. And yeah, there will be two speakers released on Saturday. Z Earth Star Healer will also be released, so make sure you look for both of those and don't miss Dawn. Okay, so I think we'll wind it up. Oh, I have hi, Tara. One more person just joined and is watching. And I'm just so grateful for, for you jumping on. I'm grateful for all the people that are tuning in and getting the Alchemy of Ascension Summit. The feedback has been amazing, and people are really feeling transformed from listening in, from all the wonderful free gifts, and just to feel the community and the togetherness, the connection there are so many of us doing this light work. It just feels good to know that we're not alone.
indeed, indeed. Connecting across space and time because it's all here and now. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
so
Mhm.
much, Dawn. And everybody else, we'll see you soon. Be sure to continue to get the Alchemy of Ascension. And I'll jump in here live. Probably Monday will be the next one.